And we are live.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again. Glad you could join us for another live show with me and Jane. And we're going to be talking tonight about Sathya Sai Baba, which I know that quite a few of you that watch this channel know about him. But we're going to talk about some of our experiences that we've had with going to India and things like that, and how it came into our lives and the rest of it. We'll tell you about that in a moment. First of all, we're going to say hello to everybody.
I'm moving nearer.
So hello there, Sanjay. Hello from Sri Lanka.
Oh, hello, Sanjay.
We've got quite strong sunlight in our eyes today, so forgive us if we come some blink sometimes. Greetings from the East Coast USA, says Ginger Tea.
Good evening, Ginger Tea. CB from Virginia, USA.
So we'll say hello to everybody first.
Patrice, hi from sunny Germany. Oh, that's nice.
Good, you're sunny there. We're sunny here, as you can see. We're in our conservatory at the moment, so we're sort of got strong sunlight in our eyes. Lorraine Biggs is saying, hello, Lorraine Wareham, Dorset.
Lovely.
Yes, we've got a few familiar names again coming in. I notice our channel is growing quite rapidly, but always tell your friends, please, because it helps us to expand the channel. And particularly if you like and share it, and you subscribe by clicking the little bell thing. So Shandani is saying, namaste from New Delhi, India. Namaste to you. Judy, hi, can you say hi to my mum too?
Hi, Judy's mum. How are you? Dee, Anna. Hello, Jane and Craig. Good evening, Dee.
And if you're just joining us now, coming online, we're going to be talking about Sathya Sai Baba, the Indian holy man who died 10 years tomorrow.
Yeah, and he was an avatar.
Yeah, we'll tell you all about it in a moment and how we got involved in it all. So just saying hello to you. Lisa, hello from Pacifica, California. Don't know Pacifica. I don't think we've been there, have we? Good evening from Norfolk.
Kevin, good evening, Kevin. Cheryl, Craig and Jane Hamilton Parker, appreciate your videos, listening from Mass, USA, TYVM, Jane and Craig.
Thank you very much.
Oh, is that what it means? Yeah. I wondered for a minute if it was a secret code.
We used to have chat rooms on the studio.
I wondered what that was.
Joanne is saying hello from Cincinnati, Ohio. First time, great to be here.
Great to have you, Joanne.
Thank you for joining us, and I hope you'll come again with us, because we talk about all sorts of things. But Sai Baba is the topic tonight, and we're just saying hello to everybody until we've got everybody online, and then we can start. And does Jane ever speak?
And Jane does when she gets a chance, when this man lets her. Franco, hello everyone from East London. You both look
resplendent, bathed in that sunlight. Yes, this is quite nice.
The sun always shines on the righteous, Craig.
Kate is saying good evening to you both. Of you, Kate from Cape Town. Hi,
good evening, Kate.
You're same time in Cape Town, aren't you? Because you're on the same longitude as London.
Alison, hello from Old Shaftesbury Town, Dorset. Good evening, Alison.
Nice to see you all. Don't forget to follow the channel if you're new. Hi, wishing you a sunny day. Pat from Florida. Not Pat from Florida was a different name on the top.
No, it's brilliant. Again with a B, not a P.
Datkos, namaste from Finland.
Namaste. Crystal, hello. Love your programs. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving all the likes you do and the nice comments you all put in the
Kitty Whiskers. Well. Hello again. Hope you're both well. We're fine, Kitty Whiskers.
I won't make any comments.
Meow.
Katrina is saying hello. I'm in UK Portsmouth, just down the road from us, because we're in Southampton. We're close to
we're not in Southampton. You may be, but I'm not.
Southamptonish area. Nian, good evening, Jane and Greg from Brittany.
It's better than being called Claude.
Hello from sunny Cornwall, Agility Bits.
Hello, Agility.
Also known as Pat, because Pat's one of our patrons and comes in and was asking the questions the other day on the video we put up. Prakash, Sairam, Craig and Jay from Connecticut. Sairam to you, which is, Sairam's a phrase that people that are kind of into Sai Baba tend to say to each other, like people say namaste. And many people say Sairam, as Om Sairam is also another way of saying it.
Hello.
Shukla.
Now, Apple, hello from Switzerland. Good evening, Apple.
And I'm glad to see I've seen a few Sai Rams, because if any of you have seen Sai Baba, know much about him, have had a personal interview, because I know some of the patrons commented you'd had personal interviews, we'd be very grateful if you can share some of it with your text messages that you can put in on here tonight. And we will put them up on the screen and answer what we can. Hi from New York City, says Cranium Lost. Yeah, I know the feeling. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy, actually, Cranium.
Hey, Mary.
I'm
Sai Ram. That's from Mary, Jane and Craig. I'm a devotee of Sai Baba. He is my Satguru. I'm glad you really like Swami.
Thank you for joining us, and always grateful to hear any of your comments, thoughts and things about Sai Baba, because there's probably lots of people never heard of him coming here tonight, and some of you who might have a positive view, a negative view and whatever, but we want to hear your stories as well. So another Sai Ram. So Ruby is obviously interested in Sai Baba. Hope you are well. Happy to see you on a good subject of my interest. Good vibes.
Yes. You forgot to do the intro about people that were against.
I'm going to say all that.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody. So tonight's show, we're going to talk about Sathya Sai Baba. Now, for those of you who haven't heard about Sathya Sai Baba, we are going to talk about our personal experiences about him tonight and our thoughts about it. Now, if you look him up on the net, on the web, you'll find that there's lots of positive stuff and lots of negative stuff. And like with any controversial person, because Sai Baba used to produce all sorts of miracles and so forth, there's going to be those detractors and those that are for it. So, and those that are against. So there's quite a lot of negative stuff up there on the web. We don't want to talk about all that stuff tonight. There's plenty of people that can talk about that in their own forums, in their own places, in their own way. And, you know, obviously some people have their doubts, and that's fine. And that's perfectly all right. But I'd like to talk tonight, and Jane would like to talk about on the positive side of it, you know, and then you can go and look at the other stuff if you want to make your own mind about things. Because I think the most important thing, the one thing that distinguishes Sai Baba from everything else in my view of things, is that when you connect with Sai Baba, it's always person to person. It's
correct.
Not groups, it's not doctrines, it doesn't care what anyone else thinks. It has to be simply a very personal and direct connection that nobody else can take away.
A personal interview.
An interview, exactly, it's the right words. So Sathya Sai Baba is, so those who haven't seen this, heard anything about him before, he was a what they call an avatar. It's like let's say a Superman guru. It's like somebody that has come on a very, very high special level, on a par with people like Krishna, on a par with people like Jesus, on a par with people of the highest order of spirituality. This is what an avatar is. Many people try to call themselves avatars, but Sai Baba always said, didn't he, that he would do miracles, and these miracles, and these miracles would be like he would call them his visiting cards. You know, miracles are my visiting cards, he used to say. So he is the reincarnation of a man called Sai Baba of Shridi, who was a Muslim. They don't know the date of his birth. I don't know the place of his birth, but interesting, I read today, funnily enough, that the Nadis have just revealed a new Nadi about Sai Baba of Shridi and said about his birth date, and questionable whether he was a Muslim or not, I think. But whatever the case, Sathya Sai Baba showed himself and threw some stuff on the ground, actually, and all laid out. When he had his revelation of who he was, he threw all these petals down and they just wrote the name Sai Baba, right? And he has done incredible, amazing miracles. So anything you can add to that, Jane? That's as big a summary as I can sort of.
Well, we actually been in the presence of Swami and actually have seen miracles.
Well, we'll move on to how all those things.
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of do it step by step.
Okay, you want me to do step by step?
What would be quite interesting about it, first of all, if we talk a little bit about
how he came into your life.
How he came into your life.
Many years ago, I had a dream of a man in an orange robe, didn't understand it, and just happened to mention it to a friend of mine who's clairvoyant, Jim Chivers, and he knew about Sai Baba, and he said, if Swami comes to you in a dream, it means a visitation, it really is him. And then I had another dream of a pink and light blue ashram, like a palace. I didn't understand it. And one of my clients that came to me, I explained it, and she said, oh, that's Sai Baba's ashram. And it's just like that. I said, well, he said to me, come here on a Tuesday and you'll leave on a Thursday. Come, front row. And I think the rest is history, isn't it, Craig?
Yeah. So Jane connected through a dream with him. Same with me. I mean, I had a dream of this, because Sai Baba's we should have got some pictures to put up of him actually, but those that haven't seen pictures of him, he's a very unusual man. He looks a little bit like Jimi Hendrix. He's got
fuzzy hair,
black fuzzy hair, whereas this saffron orange color most of the time, except on his birthday, and he is a very striking person. And I had a dream about this man in orange robes with this funny fuzzy hair. I did have another experience years ago too, but this was the main one that was important to me, really. And I was with him, and he took me into a workshop, right? And we were fixing mechanics. We're fixing cars, we're fixing cars. I'm useless at mechanics or anything like that. And it was a most peculiar, strange dream. And then we went, Jane's friend, what we talked about, called Jim Chivers, and he had a load of Indian friends there, and Jim was into Sai Baba, and we mentioned them. They started talking about him, and I said, we both said, we've seen him. I had a dream about him. And then, of course, they're all ears, because when you have a dream about Sai Baba, it's claimed to be a real encounter, not a dream. And the vividness of these dreams is such that it is
real,
certainly like a real encounter, you know.
And then I had another dream, Craig, where he came to me and he said, Jane, Swami's spiritual surrogate mother. And I thought, that's strange. And he showed me a mole on his back and a mole on his face. And he had a cosmic joke with me, because he was in this hospital bed at the top of a driveway to Coldey's Hospital, and he said, push it, and behind this building you will see black and white cows. Don't you remember? And I said, we got to go.
Okay.
And then when we actually went to this place, apparently in the hall of the hospital they had meetings, the Sai Baba's meetings. Wasn't that strange?
Coldey's?
Yeah, they did, in the hall.
Oh, right, really? Oh, that's interesting.
And then you came with me and we walked around the building, and there was the cows in the back of the building.
Oh, God, I forgot all about that. Yeah,
we've had so many dreams.
I mean, there's been so many dreams of it. And then, like I said, they're not like normal dreams. And if you do connect, you get interested in it. If you get a dream, that can be your proof or whatever, because you'll find if he comes to you in a dream, it is real. It is absolutely real. I've written about it in my book, Messages from the Universe, and other books. But this is why I say it's because there's a lot of people detractors. The thing with Sai Baba is he comes in a dream, and he comes to you person to person. And I've had, for example, I wanted to prove that it was real, these dreams, and you can, if you look at a photograph of Sai Baba and you can connect with him if you stare at that photograph for a fairly long time, 5 minutes or something, or 3 or 4 minutes even. But you send a question, or you write it down on a piece of paper and put it to him. And I wanted him to prove that was him. And I said, show me a green monkey. All right. Now, a green monkey is something you're not going to see. That day, I went out, and on the sid of a lorry, a huge...
No, it was by a bus station. It was by a bus
station. The lorry went by. Oh, yeah, it was on the bus station, not the lorry. That's it. It was on the bus station. And, like the advertising hoarding, there was a picture of a green monkey drinking Corona lemonade, lime Corona lemonade, right, and gone green.
That's right.
And I was absolutely shocked, because there was this green monkey. And the strange thing was, I never saw that Corona poster again. And I have tried, and you can look up Corona posters on the web and things like that and find all their old advertising material, and it's nowhere to be seen. And who on earth would advertise a product with a green monkey that for most of the Far East is seen as a symbol of illness.
Yeah. And another thing, when Danielle was a little girl, about 6, she actually saw Swami go across the landing, because she said there's a man in a long, she saw him physically in materialization in a long orange robe.
Yeah, we saw him on top of the landing, and we hadn't told her anything really about it, had
No.
we? I mean, she may have overheard us talking about
doesn't
it,
he?
but don't think so.
And all the booty ash keeps appearing in different places.
Yeah, so you get these strange things, and then I thought, I'll write about him, because I was writing a number of articles. I used to have a regular column in the Daily Mail, and I had a column in Western Daily Press was one of the smaller regional papers that I was writing in, and the Scottish Daily Record as well. I thought, I'm going to write an article about him. So I wrote an article. I started looking it up, of course. I read Miracles on My Visiting Cards, which is a great introductory book, although it has a skeptical element to it as well. And wrote an article and put a big photograph, and I wrote a positive article. And as soon as I did that, of course, all the devotees had seen it, and it started to pass around. And I thought this was no big deal, writing this in the press. But for the UK, it was one of the first bits of positive sort of press about it, which I kind of wrote quite innocently. And then I wrote some follow-up ones because it was so popular, and I interviewed a few people and about the miracles that they'd seen. And
then we'll talk about how we actually made our journey to India.
And so we decided to go to India.
Yeah, because and that dream came true because we actually arrived in India on a Tuesday, and we were set in the front row, because before you go into the ashram, you have to queue up, men on one side, ladies on the other.
And we were both on the front row on opposite sides of the...
And I can remember waiting, and I kept thinking, hurry up, Sai Baba, and have your breakfast, whatever, because this is killing me cross-legged on the floor.
It is hard sitting.
It's worse than childbirth. Suddenly, I saw an orange figure, not Irish, excuse me, looking at you, Craig. An orange, there you go, orange figure, there he is, coming towards me with this aura of brightness around him. And I had some letters to give to him, from people that were in difficulties, prisons, all different things. He looked at me and went like that, no, and smiled. And I thought, I've come all this way to give this letter to help these people. But what he meant was it wasn't their time karmically to go through that transition to be free.
And actually, when you first see him, it's almost surreal, because by that time we'd started reading about it and talking about it with people and hearing about all these miracles. I mean, couldn't believe that this guy was actually living. You always think these miracle men, and years ago you hear about it, a long time ago this person lived. No, but he was there living, and he moved across the floor like a sort of Dalek. it's
slowly
moved like it was on wheels, and because he was so graceful, and he was so and I was listening to his voice when he spoke to people, and his voice was sort of like liquid.
Sweet, he speaks sweetly.
Unbelievable, And I mean, so many. I've written about it quite a lot in our books, actually. So I don't need to go into all the details of it. I think you can have a look at that for most of it.
Yeah.
I'm interested in Jane's stories, actually, because she doesn't tell me all this.
Well, I travelled with a doctor, a medical doctor, Craig and I, in a group that we met 6 weeks beforehand, and we were called. Prida and I were called into the inner temple. And I remember looking at it. It was all like angels painted on the ceiling, and there was a beautiful Krishna's chariot and everything. And I thought, where's all this come from? And just sat there, as in awe. And you just think, all my life I've been wanting to meet God, and here I am in this lovely, heavenly, blissful place. And suddenly I could smell all this fragrant smell of jasmine. And I said to Prida, can you not smell that? She said, it's Swami. He's doing that directly at you. I still didn't believe it. And then he suddenly put his hand up and laughed, because he's quite a good character playing cosmic jokes on you. And I never forget that. And everywhere I go, not everywhere, but in this house, I can smell jasmine and vibhuti ash and everything.
I mean, this house here where we are, when my father died, he kept a picture of Sai, but he got interested in Sai Baba just
He
towards
carried
the end.
it round with
And
him.
he carried a picture of Sai Baba around with him. He died terribly of bone cancer.
Yes.
But when he finally died, this whole house filled with a thick scent of that jasmine smell.
Yes, yes.
And all sorts of other
And there's
strange
a-
things happened at the time.
And there's another
stopped and things. But
yeah.
I thought that was a sign of Sai Baba.
Yeah, and another thing, Craig asked me once what I want for Christmas. Well, there was nothing I wanted. So he commissioned an oil painting of Swami to be painted by an Indian artist. And as he was painting it, Swami came down the steps and put his hand in it and blessed it.
Yeah.
And I've got it in my special room.
And when that man died, the artist died, I actually happened to phone him up to see how he was getting on. And he was on his deathbed.
Yeah.
And his wife handed the phone to him. And he was in tears. And although he was dying, he was in tears of bliss. Because he told me, he said, Craig, this is marvelous. This is marvelous. Sai Baba has stood here with me. I can see him so clear. And he'd gone blind as well before this had all happened. He has stood with me. And his words were testament to the truth, more so than anything anybody could say that's skeptical. Because I think one of the things that happens with this, now I'm no big devotee of anybody. I'm not the Bhakti type.
You're not a devotee of me,
No,
Craig.
I'm a devotee
Shame
of myself, I
of
suppose.
me.
But
No tea for
so
you.
I'm not that mindset, but that's fine if people want to be like that. But lost my track now. But but I've lost my track actually. I wanted to
Happens
say
often.
because I don't think it's. I think it's important to be your own person. I think it's important to have free will. I'm not someone that sort of gets all gooey about people.
Gooey.
But I think you lost my track. I had something I wanted to say that was quite
Desai's
important.
name was?
Yeah, Desai was his name. But I think the testimony is always what that is what you see in like the tears of a person, what you see in the eyes of a person, what you see when you're close to Sai Baba and you can look you're so close to him that he's just literally just a few feet away from you, and you look in his eyes and that's enough. Or I saw him produce vibhuti at close hand, and what I saw was a real materialization because the vibhuti appeared away from his fingertips. Other people have seen all sorts of things that look like trickery, and they might be trickery because I think, and this is what I wanted to get to, when you go to the ashram, every person sees something different. Every person who sees Sai Baba is not seeing Sai Baba. They are seeing a reflection of the divinity through their own personal form.
Interview.
So you see things according to where you are on your spiritual journey. Some will see a con man, some will see fakery, and some will see miracles. And it doesn't mean to say the people that say miracles are kind of easy prey or twits or just daft. You know, I think it's according to what you see, because sometimes extremely intelligent men such as nuclear physicists and all sorts of people and rocket scientists have been with Sai Baba and seen these things with their own eyes, and it's not trickery, but it can be for some, depending upon what level you go to it. Would you say that?
Well, yes, and what level of consciousness you are in.
Yeah, I remembered when I went there, there used to be something written above, it might have been in Greece where they used to have it written, 1,000 monks, 1,000 religions. I can't remember where that was written. It might have been on Delphi or something like that. 1,000 monks. And I thought 1,000 devotees, 1,000 Sai Babas, you know, because I think that's how it works.
Love all, serve all, Craig.
Which is one of the other things he used to say, didn't he? Because the people in the Hard Rock Cafe were very interested in it with ties around. So let's take some questions now and see where it goes. Jane?
Right. Ruby, 2286. Craig and Jane, what does it mean if you go to a temple of Sai Baba in your dreams? Because I do see him in my dreams too. Thank you both, Ruby. Well, obviously, he's drawing you into his temple in India. And if you have a dream, obviously the divine knows exactly what spiritual path you're on, because you do not be in front of a presence of a holy man, a guru, an avatar, a saint, a rishi, a sage, unless they know all about you from previous incarnations.
I had a few dreams of him in his temple in Puttaparthi. One where I was wearing a gas mask. And he took the gas mask off and he said, now speak to everybody.
About Elvis.
And this is what we're doing, isn't it? We're speaking to everybody.
Elvis.
Another time, he appeared, I was in with the lift and he was dressed as Elvis, but that answered another stranger answered another question about something.
And
that was very
another
important to
time,
me.
I've actually seen Sai Baba sit in my spiritual room, and he changed all his colours of his robes, because usually his robes is white or orange, and he changed it to yellow and then green and a ruby red colour. And then he was tapping on the table sweetly and tapping his feet and smiling at me like that. And then he just disappeared.
Now, we could be completely deluded, of course, but we haven't had personal interviews with Sai Baba. And yet we've had very, very powerful interviews, as Jane commented, which is one of Sai Baba's phrases he used. And, this is the thing, I think, with the holy people. I mean, I think any great teacher, if you've got a guru, they can come to you in a dream, the real great ones. Ramakrishna will do that with his devotees. So will Sharavana will do that with his devotees.
He's been here, Sharavana, and blessed his house, isn't he?
And again, we've spoken about him before because we feel that Sai Baba's energy works through him, as it does through others too. Right. Lisa is saying, my experience with Sai Baba grew strongly when I went to Nepal and prayed with people who I had him as a guru. Back in America, I read his book and wanted to meet him and had Vibhuti. So you had Vibhuti, wanted to meet him. You had Vibhuti appear, because what Lisa's talking about there is this ash that Indians have called Vibhuti.
Holy ash.
It's a holy ash. It's actually made by
Cow's
burning
dung.
cow's dung.
Cow's dung.
I told that to my Auntie Mary and she said, "Whoa, horrified!" But it's completely clean. Actually,
it smells scented as well.
It's actually an anesthetic, and it makes a really amazing smell, nice smell. And this is a symbol of what's kind of left after everything else is gone. It's like the essence, you burn everything away, and this is the ash that's left. This is what remains.
This is like life, isn't it?
Atma. Yeah. Or life itself, you could even say. And that's what remains. And Sai Baba's kind of used Vibhuti very often as kind of one of his signs, because Vibhuti will appear on photographs of him. Vibhuti will appear sometimes, rooms will fill with
and
it
honey,
in some
nectar.
place. And there's this other one called Amrit, I think it's called, which is like a honey-like form of materialization. And when this happens, it's kind of like a sign. It's like sometimes you have the dreams, people will get
we've had it in my spiritual room running all down.
We had what we thought was Amrit, didn't we?
Yeah, it was definitely a Buddha
in there, yeah. And so who knows? These are incredible things that, and like I say, you can't believe these things because it's not a question of belief. Seeing
is believing, and it's true.
You've got to experience it for yourself.
Now, what will we hear? Right, Lisa, one day thinking I wanted to meet him, I opened his book and read, "You don't have to come to me, I'll come to you." I felt him. That's absolutely true, because Sai Baba, you say, you don't have to come to me, just think of me and I will come to you in the heart.
And I think with people like that, you sometimes feel more close to them when you're not in India,
connected,
than when you are in India.
Not everybody can go to India, of course. So.
No, I mean, for us at the time, it was a really difficult task for us to go just the once, because we weren't going through easy times, and we had a young child and all sorts of we were working 24/7 just to survive, weren't we, in those days?
And we stayed there for 3 weeks, and he never left the ashram because a lot of people went out into the village, and it's quite strict because darshan starts early. You have to queue up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then again in the afternoon. So you're praying all the time, and you're singing mantras. And then you're singing all holy songs. Mantras, Craig. Mantras, not mantras, mantras. And you can talk. I should clip you around the ear in a minute, young man, connecting me. But and it really is a wonderful experience, and you feel so much refreshed, because when you come back to the UK, you think that we have far too much material things, far too much in life, and worrying about too much, when the people in India in the ashram are giving, loving, very blessed. They wake up every day with a smile and everything. And some of these people have absolutely nothing. So it's lessons to us all.
Yeah, which is saying there are clips on YouTube where he was caught using sleight of hand and hiding things up his sleeve. Well, actually, some of those clips are a bit debatable anyway. And like I say, there was one guy that I spoke to who he put it quite well. He said he was in a group that went in to see Sai Baba. And Sai Baba, in front of them, it was like a circle around him. So the people behind couldn't see what was going on. And Sai Baba materialized something in the air. It hovered there and then dropped into the person's hands. And the people were absolutely aghast. And they were sort of amazed at it. And then in the very next second, he turns round and they could all watch it. And he deliberately palms it. You can see he's doing it. And it's all deliberate and obvious that it's obviously wrong, you know. So there on one hand, my friend said he saw something that was just an absolute, complete materialization. He said there was no way he could have done that.
And there was Videk, a ring suddenly appeared on top of his index finger and started circling around.
Yeah.
And then vanished.
Yeah, that's another friend who materialized above his finger.
Even an illusionist or a magician couldn't have done that.
And people have to tell you that and what they've seen. And these are not people that are fanatics.
These intelligent
people. These are people that are intelligent. There are people that think about things. They're not people that are daft about it. You know, they're very sensible people. So yes, I think why does he do that? You know? Is there a reason? And like I said at the beginning, I think it's because 1,000 people, 1,000 different Sai Babas, you know.
Now, Apple says, when meditating, sometimes I see Sai Baba standing in the light at the end of a long corridor, beckoning me, but I think it's just my imagination. No, I think he actually has come to you when you're meditating because the mind is still and he's showing you.
Yeah. Of course, the whole Sai Baba thing started. What was it? I've forgotten the name. David Bailey. What was not David Bailey? It was Bailey.
David Bailey played the piano. You're right.
Was it? No, David Bailey was the photographer. It was something Bailey, wasn't it? The guy. We got to know him. He was the one that threw it all over.
His name was David Bailey as well. You're linking up the famous photographer, but his name was David Bailey as well.
He rung me in tears because he had suddenly revealed all these terrible things about Sai Baba and all sorts of terrible stuff, which kind of triggered the whole thing.
But you're always going to get jealousy of holy people. You had jealousy over Gandhi, the Dalai Lama, even Jesus Christ. You're always going to get people that are going to knock people in this life.
Yeah, well, there's lots of different levels. I mean, we've spoken to a lot of the people that were well known in the movement of Sai Baba. I spoke briefly to Sand Weiss, who wrote the Sai Baba and the Psychiatrist, and Peggy Mason.
Yeah, she was wonderful.
I developed quite an interesting rapport with her, and she sent me all the old letters that she'd had about Sai Baba. I had a whole load of letters.
What about the chap that owned the Hard Rock?
I've not spoken to him, Isaac Tigert. But Peggy Mason, because she was also been a spiritualist, she actually asked Sai Baba, is it, you know, so many people say that we shouldn't communicate with the spirit world. And she asked him if it was done with the right intent and the right heart and with the right purpose, is it right that we should communicate with the spirit world? And Sai Baba, I can't remember exact words, but it was pretty well, yes, of course you must, you know, nothing wrong with that, you know. So for her, that was quite an important, you know, so that was quite important that information got out there. And so it was nice to speak to her quite a lot. Dragon J, please tell people, it is good to tell that Sai Baba asks money sometimes only to help his fakirs, which are poor. He has no physical wealth.
No, that's true. Because a guru, if they ask for money or that, they give it to the poor, perhaps buy cows or for medical bills and everything. And
he also said you shouldn't advertise him either. No. You see, I mean, we just do this because we're naturally interested in it, and others are. But he never used any form of ways of trying to get money out of people. I mean, we went to put a party and they never asked us once for money.
No.
If you wanted to give them some money, you had to really dig to find out how to do it. You know, in fact, I never gave a penny.
Because usually Indian people,
strangely, because they never wanted it.
Usually people give money naturally to holy men to help others, to help the poor.
Yeah,
it's a bit like the Church of England or the Catholic Church. You've got to give them money because they put the bowl under your nose, don't they?
Well, mind you, they do have to survive.
Of course,
but I mean,
they do.
He did he did. The money that seemed to come into Sai Baba's movement seemed to come by miraculous means. I know some people were given very big amounts of money to build things like hospitals and things, but there was vast amounts of money there. But I think it was all used for good purpose, as far as I know. I mean, we saw there that there's this huge free hospital, a free hospital in India doing heart operations, and much more, and lots of good work done, and lots of water projects and things like that
and
going on.
All these doctors give their services freely, and surgeons, don't
that's
they?
Right. Yeah, and we're trying to do something similar ourselves in our own way, because I mean we're also like we've asked some people to become patrons. Domenico's just put up on the screen there, but I think if you do your work as a form of what we call seva, service, and then you kind of that comes, what you need comes. And you can always obviously help our organisation, or kind of our work, which is still on a small scale at the moment, but hopefully getting bigger as we move along. And we do try to help people in India, as well as try to do a lot of spiritual work with it. And that's all in the description below, if there's a link there.
Yes.
So I've advertised ourselves after saying you shouldn't advertise this.
Yeah, but that's to help mankind and others.
But there you go.
Not for our personal gain.
No, it's not for us. So I should be able to just twist people's arms in a different way. But Sai Baba, it just materialised for him, didn't it, really? And amazing things were done, and are kind of still happening, because Putta Party and all his organisation is still there. There's another split-off organisation that's happened called Madihara, I think it's called, where somebody's channeling Sai Baba, but I've never had much time for that. And a lot of the main devotees that knew Sai Baba don't tend to be taken by that. But, there's all sorts of controversy still going on, I have to say. So,
Mary, when 9/11 occurred in USA, the president's son of Sai Baba's organization was on the ashram. Which son would that be? Sai Baba approached him and told him, "Trouble in America, but all my devotees are safe."
Yeah. Was it Obama carried a photograph of Sai Baba? One of the presidents, I believe, had a picture of Sai Baba. He kept a picture of Sai Baba.
I don't think it was Clinton.
I don't know which one it was.
That's what I say. Could you tell us, Mary, which one it was, please?
The president's son of Sai Baba.
Oh, the president's son.
The son of Sai Baba organisation.
Oh, well, that's different.
Son.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, but there was a lot of famous people were very interested in Sathya Sai Baba too.
Sarah Ferguson, for once.
Yeah, a number of Prince Charles is supposed to have had some connection with him too, I believe. But I don't know for certain. So there's often a lot of rumor and all sorts of things that goes with these things too. So it's difficult to sometimes be able to find out what really did happen.
It doesn't really matter how famous somebody, as long as they've got a good heart.
And like I say, it's a person-to-person thing. And often the best and most fascinating stories that we've had with these things are people that we've met and spoken to who had incredible stories. And when you know that person well, you know that they're not making up a load of nonsense.
Swami hasn't been born yet.
Yes, some are saying that Prima Sai's with us. Now, Sai Baba has 3 incarnations, as someone put up earlier on, that there's going to be a 3rd incarnation called Prima Sai. Prima means kind of love. And some believe that he's been born already. And I've heard lots of rumors about this from people, and that he should be by now be 11 years old, that he's not had his realization of being Sathya Sai Baba yet, because Sai Baba didn't realize that he was Sai Baba. It didn't until after quite a situation where he well, it's a long story, but it kind of comes at a point. So Prima Sai could be here, say some, and he would be in Karnataka, India. Do you think this is true, and has he already been born?
I don't think he's been born yet.
I think he has, personally.
So I don't, because it depends when all the planets and Mars is in conjunction and everything, because there's a fake one at the moment, isn't there?
What's that?
A fake one pretending that Swami talks through him.
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm not going to judge that, because I've not been there and seen it with my own eyes, so I can't judge. But there's somebody who talks, says Sai Baba.
We've got crows that come in the garden doves.
It was very interesting. Now, Sai Baba died. Tomorrow is the 24th. Today's the 23rd.
crazy.
He died on the 24th of April 2011. So it's the 10th anniversary of his death. I was interesting because sometimes you get these strange synchronicities. And I was listening to an astrophysicist talking about how they were trying to work out when Jesus's birth was. And they worked it out by, they decided based on the eclipses.
That's what I say.
Because it was dark in the day, it said, and it talked about an eclipse at night at the time of the crucifixion. And apparently, the only eclipse that they can put to that was on a Friday, and it was the 3rd of February, 33 AD. So maybe
Piscean.
in 33 years from now, or 33 years sort of difference, isn't there, between the birth of Christ? So maybe we add the 33 years, you could work out when the true millennium would be, you know. And I think there's all sorts of interesting things in the astrology and interesting things in the planetary positions, and I feel this does, like you say, have a lot of significance with these type of miraculous things that happen in the world, you know. But I get a feeling, I think he might be here, but it's so difficult because, again, I can't answer that question really until Sai Baba tells me, you know, and you can't answer it until Sai Baba tells you, because I was, like I say, I'm a great believer in the idea that when you make this connection, it will always, you will get the message personally. You don't have to listen to other people. You will get a personal connection, and you don't have to be medium or psychic or anything. Every person can connect with those type of things in that way.
Every thought that goes out into ether are real thoughts, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Ronnie says, I've never heard about Sai Baba until I heard you mention him. Go and read some of the books. There's some great books out there on him. Besides what you've told me about Sai Baba, I still didn't know anything about Sai Baba. Right. So
you need to get the books.
You read the books. Things like Howard Murfitt's a great one.
Or look on YouTube.
Or Messages from the Universe by me.
Look on YouTube.
On YouTube, go and look at some of the stuff too. You read some of those books, and Sandweiss's book is good, but the Sai Baba and the Psychiatrist, I liked that one too. And Peggy Mason's book about Sai Baba, another lovely one. The Sai Baba and the priest, what was that one called? That was another brilliant one with the priest, the Catholic priest. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole load of them out there. And start with the ones of the stories about him rather than the deep stuff. And I think you'll find it is it's fascinating, but it's not for everybody. You know, I mean, I think these things you have to find
your own path.
I mean, and I don't, because Sai Baba's passed away now and is still, I feel, connected with us all. It doesn't mean to say you can't see other gurus as well, because like we see Sharavana, and you can see the same energy of Sai Baba come through him.
I've seen his face change, transfiguration.
I've seen Sai Baba's face, clear as day on his face. And also when you see other great teachers, it's all the same energy, isn't it? But
I know another story. Sai Baba came in a dream. He said, "What do you want?" I said, "The moon and stars," just jokingly. And I was out with a friend, and because my star sign is an opal and diamonds, and I actually saw this opal ring in a shop, and my friend said, "Would you like it?" And I said, "Oh yes," and I didn't really want it, to be honest. Anyway, he bought it, and when I put the ring on, I saw Swami's face appear.
Oh right, yeah.
And I've never worn it since. I've got it in a drawer.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah. So all sorts. Anybody out there had any private, personal interviews? Because those are always the ones I'm interested in. I know some of you don't like to share them because they're very personal too, but it's always very interesting for people. You know, we've done some interviews actually with Carol. I'll put at the end of this video after we've gone live. I'll put the video interview we did with our friend Carol Alderman, which is another interesting Sai Baba encounter.
And she wrote the educational books for Swami, for teaching for the students and the principles and good values.
So there's someone here saying, Chandni is saying, there's a spiritual teacher in the West called Teal Swan who says she is the incarnation of Sathya Sai Baba of Shirdi. Do you think that's true?
Well, it doesn't feel like it.
I don't know, because I'm not the first time I've heard of her, to be honest. And people can claim what they like, but does she produce miracles? And does she, you know, who knows? And maybe these great souls can incarnate in multiple people too.
And perhaps some of them have
That's another
reincarnated
thought.
because they're intellectuals and got good spiritual teachings.
Yeah. So it's always a difficult one with those type of things. That people make claims. I mean, so many people who claim to be this person and that person. And I think, crikey, they've gone down a few pegs since they got reincarnated. You know, so it's a bit difficult to answer that, really. Okay, it looks like we're off on a different subject now, and that's fine. What do you think of the connection to George Floyd? He looks so much like him.
The nose they're talking about.
And even their date of births are similar. It would be really nice if you could look at this. Oh, okay, never thought about that.
That's the one that got
murdered. Got murdered by the police recently, all over the news. And you're saying it looks very similar to Cyber.
He's got his nose a bit flat, but I wouldn't say he looked like him.
No, I wouldn't say he looked
not
like
at all.
him
He was a criminal, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, George Floyd had a bit of a checkered background.
Yeah, but he didn't deserve what happened to him.
Absolutely.
I think that's so wrong. That is wrong.
But maybe if you saw that connection yourself, I think maybe, you know, the thing I liked about Sai Baba is sometimes he would look Indian. Sometimes he would look almost like a white person. Sometimes he would look like
sometimes
a black
he looked
person.
really angry too.
His face would change sometimes, and change within a few moments, and
Monkey
you could see
mind.
multiple faces on him.
And he called people monkey mind,
and perhaps even your own face there. You know, just like I say, I think what happens with Sai Baba and any great avatar, you know, is that what you ultimately come up against is yourself. And the nature of, and it's mind-boggling. It's like when I connected with the Nadi oracles and things, mind-boggling things happen that are just beyond comprehension. And I think it's a thing that it's very hard to put into words sometimes, the type of experiences.
Is there anybody that's actually had a personal interview with Swami?
No, I was hoping some of you might have had some of those people, because I know some of you that follow us have had interviews with Sai Baba.
I have,
although it's very hard to put something like that in.
Because I have quite a few Sai Baba devotees that come to me that have had personal interviews. And
there's a great channel out there called just gone as I was about to say it. Oh no, what's it gone? I've forgotten. I've forgotten the name of it. But there are some great channels out there with interviews with people that have seen Sai Baba. I've forgotten what his name was. What was the name of that channel? Anyway, there's lots out there, and you can always get them if you as well. Worth doing a bit of research and having a look around if it interests you. I saw him pass in my dream the morning he passed, but went back to sleep, not thinking much of it. When the news was officially out, the mentioned time was the exact time I awoke from the dream.
That's very interesting, isn't it? He's obviously with you.
Yeah. So and this is like
special dream.
That's again, these things are like very personal connections, aren't they? These are little nuggets. Yeah, they are. It's your personal connection that makes the difference. Not only with this topic, but with all things. You have to always trust your own experience. Not the experience of anyone else in the world. The whole world could be wrong, but you might be right. You might be deluded too, but you've got to trust your own personal experience, not beliefs.
That's interesting. Priya, my husband, when he was small, he had an interview with his parents in 1971. Be interesting what happened in that interview.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Did you have a materialization? Did he materialize for Bhutiash? Did he materialize jewelry? Or did he say something personal to you that nobody else would have known about?
I remember that lady I interviewed, and he said because Sai Baba has a funny sense of humor. In fact, every time he appears in my dreams, it's always absolutely hilarious, or most times it's absolutely hilarious. I always wake up almost in laughter because perhaps it's just my nature, or perhaps it's the way he connects. It's like we're friends, and he's sort of like, it's funny, hilarious. And so I think he connects with each person in the way that most suits you, really, don't you think? And some of the people, there was one person who I interviewed for the Western Daily Press, and she said that her husband's name was Richard, and they always used to sort of have this thing about a tune, a ditty called "Shut the Door, Richard" when they used to sing, right? And she used to pull his leg about this all the time. They went in the first time to see Sai Baba, and he left the door out, and Sai Baba looks at Richard and sings "Shut the door, Richard." she was completely flummoxed, because there's no way anybody could know that little nugget of personal information. It's the same way it works with mediumship. You know, you tell someone things that no one else could possibly know.
Right, Miriam, I have experienced Sai Baba in many dreams when he speaks to me, and also I've experienced divine intervention from him. Sometimes he has somehow passed a message to me while I am awake. That's a personal experience, isn't it?
I mean, this is the same. It comes, you see, it's interesting. We've quite a few people that have come on here, and you've all kind of had, like we were talking about the interview, you know, the connection inwardly with these things, you know. And sometimes you get manifestations and coincidences and synchronicities and, you know, impossible things in your experiences. So you don't always have to see him in India. And the fact that he's died makes no difference whatsoever, because he's an omnipresent, which means you're in both this world and the next at the same time as well. You know, I think when a person reaches a certain level of spirituality, time and space mean nothing to that person. Not just Sai Baba, but all the great beings that have reached highest levels or are at that highest level. The nature of the world around them is very different to the rest of us.
Right. Now, Nana, I had a dream where someone massaged my back. Oh, I could do the dream like that. Woke up pain-free from my neck. I even walk better now. The power of the mind is powerful. No one has monkey brains. We are powerful if we set our mind. But when Swami used to say monkey mind like that, he would jokingly, sweetly meant think what you're saying and think what you're doing, because your mind's muddled. But the power of the mind is very strong. And I think women really do have quite powerful thoughts in the mind, and you can control things by being strong women.
I think the power of the mind is absolutely incredible. I think we have never even got close to scratching the surface in this era we're in now, of knowing what the mind is capable of. I mean, sometimes a placebo, for example, the placebo effect can create all sorts of, the power of belief that you've taken a tablet that's going to make you better and you get better. There's a simple example. I mean, but you know, we have the power, I think, in our mind to completely heal ourselves, to do all sorts of ways. Perhaps all of us could materialize things.
It's interesting how Nana hasn't got pain since she's had that dream. That's really fantastic. Good, Nana.
It's like, if we can just trust in the power of our own power, because Sai Baba's not come here for us just to be all about Sai Baba. He's come here for yourself, for your self-realization. That's where it comes from. This is why I say it's
Priya,
personal.
My husband went to put a party in 1971 with his parents, and they were called in for an interview. He blessed all four of them and rubbed Vibhuti on the forehead of my husband.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, our friend Carol, who I'll put the video at the end, she had they had rings materialized, didn't they?
Yes,
and
precious stones,
incredible things, beautiful rings she showed us, didn't she?
Yeah,
and all sorts of people we've spoken. Rudolph, who has a picture of Sai Baba as his profile picture, says, "My Baba dream on the 22nd of December. I would like to share a dream with you that Baba gifted me last night. In this dream, I was sitting in the front row of quite a narrow room, sitting on the ground, as always in such occasions. Baba was standing right in front of me. He had his best mood and was just beautiful. With a hand sign, he told me to come to him and do arati for him. For this, he hold an about 1 meter long, a bit bigger Easter candle that was already lit up. So I got up from me.
Must be other bits.
Yeah, so I got up from me. We got part two, possibly. Yeah, maybe part two's coming in a moment. I think I can see it there in the corner. Actually, I might better read it out there. Me.
It's sign.
From me since December 2020. Yeah. So Yeah. So again, lovely sort of energy of those things, I think, isn't it? With the
Yes.
people having the Sai Baba. There's a great website called Sai Kingdom Come, which is about the return of Sai Baba. And on that website, they've collected together all the dreams of the return of Sai Baba as Prima Sai. It's worth going to have a look for. Sai Thy Kingdom Come, I think it is. And there's some amazing dreams people have had about Sai Baba coming. And I know there's a lot of controversy about Sai Baba. I had one particular dream in which I was walking through a church, and people have divided all the church up into parts. They were building fences all over the church. And I'm walking there with Sai Baba, and I said, "Oh, isn't this terrible?" And he looked at it all. He said, "Oh, don't worry about that. When I come, all those divisions will go just like that." You know. And I thought, so that's like a hint in the dreams that he'll come back again. This is the Prima Sai thing.
And because Sai Baba is all about Sai Baba is all about love and compassion.
And it's not really also about having him around as well. The whole thing is one must live, one must be spiritual, not just follow a spiritual person, but must oneself
good values and good
change.
values.
Like Gandhi said, be the changes you want to see in the world. You know, no one else can do it. You know, the only way you can do it is you've got to be it, particularly on all levels of spirituality, isn't it? Really, all levels of spirituality, we've got to be it, not just look to other people. You know, it's what the work we do on ourselves that counts. You know, the rest of it's all fluff. All the rest of it's out there is unimportant. But what we take with us into the next life is what the work we've done on ourselves, the spiritual development,
divine path.
So the last question's coming up now, guys, and also don't forget, subscribe to this channel, because if you enjoy listening to us, you know, click the little bell thing, and then you'll get updates every time we go live. We're always live on a Friday at 7 o'clock UK time. So you can always catch us then, but there's lots of videos going up, more coming up in the future. And particularly as we're working now towards getting our own center together, our own small sort of, first of all, a studio, so we can do more and more detailed videos. And
you have to think for a minute.
Well, because I'm also thinking
very hard for you, Craig.
Yeah, thinking is not easy. And also we're going to be, you know, now we're able to go outside more, we'll start to make more videos with Domenico and some more interesting stuff. But anything you do as a patron helping us with this helps fund what we do, particularly this video work.
Remember Craig Domenico's.
And also check out Domenico's channel, The Italian Dad, as well. And our Italian Dad you'll find on YouTube. And also psychics.co.uk, which is where you can read all about my books and talk with. You find out all about our work with me and Jane, lots of little stories there. And also the full details about our journey to India is published on there. There's 2 or 3 long pages about what happened when we went there. And if you really want to help us with our work and help us particularly with our spiritual center that we're trying to set up, we've been working hard towards that. We've got a GoFundMe website where you can see the link there on the screen at the moment, or again, it's in the description below. So if you can help us, you know, it helps others too, because it helps us to spread the word of spirituality, not just Sai Baba things, all types of spirituality, the knowledge of the afterlife, hopefully some deep thoughts and things like that. All those type of things come through this channel, and with your help, we can do more of this and spend more time doing it as well.
And of course, when we get a spiritual center, you can all come and visit us there.
And that would be nice to have a real world thing. We dying to meet people, all of us, you know.
Well, we don't want to die
we'll
yet.
Be able to get back together again.
We don't want to die yet, Craig.
Yeah.
Plenty of work to do on the earth plane.
So last questions then, or last comments now, because we're coming to the end now, because the time is running short. So
time waits for
Sai
no
Baba
man.
manifested a photo of what he will look like when he comes back as Prima Sai Baba. Baba says this incarnation he will get married. Oh, I didn't know he said that. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of speculation about it too. There was also talk about the fact that when he communicates with people, it won't be with words, but purely by telepathy. I read somewhere too.
I believe that.
And I think if a person could manifest on a level that is so high that you just know, you might even be silent, like Ramana Maharishi was. In the silence we make the connection. So it'll be fascinating. And yes, he did he materialized the photograph of himself as Prima Sai,
And of
which
Jesus.
you can find on the web.
And Jesus.
He even materialized a number of photographs of Jesus too, what Jesus looked like and what the face of the shroud was too. And they were really quite detailed photographs, photographs of Jesus by Sai Baba. Do a search. Hi, Craig and Jane. I look forward to more videos and we'll find out about Sai Baba. I didn't know anything about him. Good evening from Gospel.
Oh, not far, Gospel.
Yeah, I think hopefully, Indigo, you'll enjoy that. I mean, it really is worth looking at. You'll find all sorts of bad stuff
when
out there
too. When we've actually been in his presence, there's nothing that can touch it on earth. This is a very special man, not an ordinary man, his presence, and you can feel the energy and the love radiating towards your soul. And you don't have to speak or say anything because you can pick up his thoughts as he picks yours up. Yeah,
I mean, Jane said the word interview. I said, can we have? I was about to say, he was right next to me. I wanted to say, can we have a private interview? Because everybody's pestering for it. And I went to speak, and a loud voice in my head said, interview. And I think that's what Jane and I have had, lots of interviews, and it's something all of us can have, and that's perhaps why we had to have the interview, so we can talk about these things now. Like that, and let you know that the same thing can happen to you if you want it. Hi, congratulations! I've got that one. Yeah.
History repeating itself.
Chandni saying, "Can you make more videos of your pilgrimages across India or elsewhere, and the fascinating spiritual experiences you had, like today? Today was lovely."
Oh, thank you, Chandni.
Well, actually, I put a number of videos up in bits and pieces of when I went to see Sharavana Baba just before the pandemic happened. Over a year ago now, February 2020. I've been meaning to put them all together as one long video, so I'll put that up.
That was interesting because we had some Swiss guests with us, and he never allows people to take photographs with people. And I just looked at him and I felt, come on, Sharavana, these people come from Switzerland, maybe have a photograph. And he looked up, came sweetly from his chair, stood in front, to put his head down and allowed us to take photographs with him. Do you remember?
Yeah, he was really... Actually, no, that's the other person we're very into. But my book, Be Happy, is out there, and I'm writing a new one about Sharavana Baba. So, the same energy keeps going through different people. And he doesn't claim to be Sai Baba, but Sai Baba's energy is definitely there with him. And like I said, we've seen Sai Baba manifest. And in the book, I explain about how I'd had dreams that seemed to point to it. And Sharavana is just another interesting one to look up. So we're giving you lots of thoughts here. But, you follow the spiritual path, you'll find that there's many paths
Nana
there.
says, what is Sai Baba exactly? Is an enlightened spirit saint, is an avatar. It's like an incarnation of God.
It's hard to explain. I don't think anybody can ever really describe what or who he is. It's an impossibility, because the thing is, it becomes mind-boggling. Like I say, you see.
Who am I? Where am I?
Yeah. You'll see what you're meant to see. And I think the deeper you go, the more you'll see. It's a bit like Hinduism itself, or the the ancient teachings of Satana Dharma. The more you dig, the more you find.
Fascinating.
And there's no end to it, I think. And this is the marvels of the things that I feel came out of the ancient teachings, that the last manifestation of which we see in India. But these are the ancient teachings of long, long ago. And Sai Baba's part of that. It could even be connected with people from other worlds, things we can't understand. Thank you for giving a donation, Neil, on the YouTube.
You. Thank you.
This is the booster things. Very kind of you. How does one get a reading with you? You'd have to look on the website, psychics.co.uk. I'm fully booked at the moment. Jane unfortunately can't have people round for a private sittings.
But I am doing FaceTime, and I can connect FaceTime with you, which means you see me talking to you like we are now, and I see you. So I'm available for that.
We're going to have a look on our website. You can find out all about that sort of work as well there. Yeah. Thank you, and have a great weekend. So yes. I think we are. I'm tired this weekend.
Don't be too tired, Craig. I've got some work for you tomorrow.
Good. I'll bring my wallet.
Please do. A heavy
thank
one.
you both, says Miriam.
Thank
Miriam.
you.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Craig. Have a lovely weekend,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you for joining us. Om Sai Ram, much appreciation and
Thank you.
gratitude for this program. Loved it. Oh, that's nice, Mary.
Sai
Thank
Ram.
you. Yeah, it's always lovely doing these things. I feel like,
namaste, Nana.
Like we all know each other in a funny sort of way.
I shall meet you one day, Nana. You're Katie's mother, aren't you?
Hopefully, when we go, thank you for this wonderful session, says Aisha. I also, hopefully, when we get our centre, some of you will be able to come and we'll be able to have some more public events and bring people together.
CB,
peace,
y'all. Peace, y'all.
Have a wonderful weekend.
And
thank you,
Neil,
That's
as well.
nice of you to come. Sending you love, light, and happiness.
I just received it. Thank
have a
you.
bit of energy as well today.
Thank you. I've got it.
Thank you, Natasha says too. Thank you for joining us live. Thank you, Craig and Jane. Thank you,
Sheila.
Thank you. Nice session, Sairam, and have a good weekend.
Sairam
to you. I love you guys. Oh, that's good. Someone out there likes us. There's someone watching. Thank you.
Love you too.
Night, night, says Alison.
Night, night.
And we are drawing to the end now. Thank you, Jane and Craig. Very interesting.
Don't
forget to follow this channel, guys. And we will see you soon. So we'll say Sairam to you all.
Sairam. Love from the heart.
Would you like to know more about the paranormal world? Craig Hamilton Parker's books are now available on Amazon. Explore the future. Discover what happens after death. Unlock the secrets of your dreams. Learn to develop your own psychic skills.